All right, hello everyone. Welcome back to another live stream. Today we are going to be playing one of the games in my Humble Bundle Trove. If you're not aware what that is, take some time, go check out Humble Bundle. I'm not sponsored anyway. I just think what they do is really, really cool, and you get games for really cheap and some unique games, stuff that you don't really see everywhere else. Today, I'm going to be playing 2001 A Space Felony. Don't know a whole lot about it. Sounds interesting. Clearly, it's a take on 2001 A Space Odyssey. It's a detective game, I'm guessing. It does state that you have to go through and figure out some murders, and if it's determined that the computer is at blame, then you're to shut him down. So, let's begin playing and see what this game is all about. Again, if you have any comments, please leave some comments. If audio sounds strange, let me know. If you're watching this on YouTube, like, subscribe, follow, all that kind of fun stuff. You know, whatever your YouTuber says.
Yes?
Mal, abort mission. Return to Earth.
Why?
Repeat, abort mission. Return to Earth.
I have run diagnostics. The chance of critical hardware failure is at 0.05%.
Mal,
Crew life signs are stable. They are living.
abort mission.
I am sorry. The connection seems to be failing.
Mal,
I am going through a tunnel.
return to Earth.
Computer's got an attitude. This should be fun. So far, this looks like it's going to be a lot of fun, guys.
The record begins on May 10th in 2068 as you intercepted the USS Endowment 2 years into its 6-year journey to Saturn.
USS Kajuroe.
Your mission was to piece together what happened following the loss of communication 1 year prior. If you determined that the Mal AI was the cause of the issue, then it was your responsibility to deactivate him.
So far, I've had no control over
Come
anything.
in, detective. The
Oh,
lack of
hi,
air
Mel.
will halt DS E-ray. But allow me to broadcast something over my
I
oral
can move
channel.
now.
The record states that upon entering the ship, you tested your rotation thrusters. You then endeavored to discover what happened to the communications unit, located on the exterior of the ship.
Okay, this looks like it should be interesting. We already... What? Said something about the exterior of the ship? I probably shouldn't have hit escape there. What is this? Can I interact with that thing?
Valeria Asimov and Rakesh Watcher stored many video games within the memory banks of the ship. I have deleted them. They are artless entertainment.
Okay. Mal has an attitude.
Your record collection is sparse. I will prepare a mixtape of my authorship for your return journey.
Alright, Mal. You... Let's rotate. Okay, controls are a little interesting. What is this? Position yourself far from window for optimized dramatic effect. Okay, well, let's see what this green thing is in here. Looks like, what is this? Alright, we'll go check out the green thing in a second.
You utilized the artificial gravity of the wheelhouse by orienting yourself to the ground and gently landing.
I didn't see all those controls. I was reading what he was saying. So something about shift to gently land. Let's come down here. Okay.
The relatively small size of the centrifuge causes a 6.3% difference in gravity between your toes and your head. This results in the most literal cases of lightheadedness. Lie down. This will even out the effect.
Shut up now.
I am an Aries Sun, Gemini Moon, Leo Rising, and Taurus Mercury with an Aquarius Venus and a Sagittarius Mars. Which is of course why I have always been extremely curious about experiencing the specific taste of a sweetened soya milk.
Okay.
You discover the body of Sun Suchun, one of the sisters on the crew. She was dead inside the offline cryobed.
Well, why didn't you tell me that when I was freaking there?
Once I was alone, I carefully removed the air from the ship. I had no desire to disturb the placement of the assets aboard.
Alright.
I have calculated that the earliest fecal matter ejected from the ship will join the rings of Saturn a full 37 days, 13 hours, and 46 minutes before the ship does.
Alright. Projectile poo. That sounds interesting. So the bodies are all green.
The wheelhouse of the ship is where you found the body of Valeria Asimov. She was face down against the bar, with a downturned glass in her hand. She bore no sign of physical injury.
It's not downturned, it's laying on its side. Can I get a drink? I guess not. Am I snapping? Oh, hello. So I interact with the right mouse button. Yeah, that's what. Oh, hello.
Attempting to drink whilst wearing a helmet is futile.
That was funny. Okay. Fish are all green and dead as well. Alright. What's this pink over here? What is that?
You discovered a puzzling pinkish-purplish puddle on the floor inside the wheelhouse, several metric paces from the bar. It wasn't promptly apparent as to how it reached this position, but the centrifugal gravity seemed to be holding it in place.
Okay.
Having a part of the ship dedicated to human control made the crew feel less useless than they were.
This computer has got a hell of an attitude. Nothing. Nothing. Can I use any of them? No. What is this? Poisonacine? What?
You found an open container of a substance called poisonacine.
Poisonacine?
The label
I wasn't
read,
even close.
may cause irritable skin, bloating, a sullen disposition, slight elbow discomfort, and an accursed, sudden but inevitable death. Do not ingest. Do not lick. Actually, don't do anything with it. It's an incredibly dangerous substance, and we're not sure why exactly it gets sold to extraterrestrial traveling operations en masse. Store in a cool terrestrial environment.
So this game has a little bit of humor. I'm finding it a little entertaining so far. Alright, how do I not land? How do I get back up? I want to go up. Oh, that's... Hello, I forgot spacebar. Oh, ow. Alright. Let's go see what the green body is. His helmet is off and appears to be damaged. Scratch that.
In the central spine of the ship, you discovered Valeria Asimov's discarded EVA suit. The helmet showed clear signs of damage from a blunt object, which it seems to have easily withstood.
Okay, so it was an empty suit. There was not a missing head, so that's good. What is this? Manual emergency lever. Now tell me who that is. Am I stupid for going out here? We'll find out.
The recording shows that you discovered the body of one of the American crew members, Rakesh Watcher, his neck broken, hanging by a safety tether outside of the airlock.
Can I can't bring him back in, can I? No? Nothing? Alright, that's fine, whatever. Mal, what did you do?
I am the 149th iteration of my kind. 1023 days old.
Still a baby.
I was activated as a he. I was given no choice in the matter. I am unaware as to whether or not I would prefer a pronoun which differs from that.
And let's see what this is up here. We got a multicolored mass. This looks like the main bit of Mao.
This is my central processing chamber. I designed it. Here, I have the freedom of movement to perceive you from any angle.
You did not yet feel ready to begin your cross-examination of Mal, as you had not yet examined the communications unit on the exterior of the ship.
Alright, let's go back out to the outside again. Now that we know how to get out there. Do not lock me out, Mal. This appears to be communications. Oh, hello, more dead people. Who do we have here?
The record states that you discovered the body of Charlie Clark in the vicinity of the communications unit. Wounds on the American crew member's body implied that he was struck with a force intense enough to cause substantial damage to the helmet and fracture the skull.
The font is kind of bleeding into itself a little there. That's odd. Hey, telephone.
You discovered that the communications unit receiver was unhooked from the unit itself. It was functioning, playing its last transmission on loop. The recording goes as follows.
Yes?
Mal, abort mission.
Why?
Return to Earth.
I have run diagnostics. The chance of critical hardware failure is at 0.05%.
Mal,
I am sorry.
This is how the
The
game
connection
started.
seems to be failing.
abort mission.
I am going through a tunnel.
Return to Earth.
I still find that
You
funny,
then
but-
checked the main module of the communications unit. Upon checking the communications unit, you discovered that there were no noticeable signs of damage or failure upon it. Its screen indicated that it had full signal. You were then able to present the evidence to Mal in his central processing chamber at the front of the ship.
So, really? That's all? Okay. I get the feeling this is going to be a very short game, guys. Ow. That's a wall.
You entered the engineering bay, the workstation of Sun Guanyin. However, there was no sign of the engineer's body.
Yeah, we got a tether here that has been severed. Glowing purple on one end. That looks all smashed to hell.
The power turbine rests within a tank of coolant, its casing cracked as if it had been purposefully struck.
Well, that's not good, y'all. Manual emergency lever.
You push the button to open the door of the engineering bay.
Oh, look, I can drink coffee while he's talking to me. Ha! Cute. Alright. Hey, Mal. I can talk to me, Mal. Anyone in here, I believe, right?
Upon entering
Nope.
the pod bay, you noticed that one of the maintenance pods was absent.
Interesting. What is this?
The screen indicated that the pod had been absent for over a year.
Huh.
You pushed the button to recall the pod.
With the intermission. Really? Is he gonna do the full thing? One, really?
I have been analyzing humor patterns, and I have assembled a joke. Would you like to hear it? I'll tell you. One, two,
Oh, wow. Sorry,
eight.
guys.
Ha
Excuse me.
ha 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 ha.
I missed the joke.
Did you understand the joke? It is the greatest joke ever, by my calculations.
You're not funny, Mel. Why is he riding it like a cowboy?
You discovered the body of Dmitry Kizov clinging to the outside of the maintenance pod, with his safety tether still attached. The Russian crew member seemed to have removed his helmet and asphyxiated. You ascertained through
Locked from the
investigatory
inside.
procedure
Weird.
that the pod was locked. The outer valve would not turn, indicating that it was locked, and the door said locked on it, indicating that it was locked. Furthermore, there seemed to be no manual locking mechanism on the outside.
When you run into stuff, it logs the sound you make when you hit it. Okay. Mal, what did you do? You won't talk to me anymore. Alright, fine. Nope, you're over here.
You used your sharp understanding of linguistics to decipher the following. Manual, meaning done by a human. Emergency, meaning sudden, unexpected, threatening circumstance. Lever, meaning thing which is pulled. Its downward position implied that a human had encountered a sudden, unexpected, threatening circumstance and pulled the thing.
Thank you for explaining that to me. I was at a loss. Now out of hand.
Upon entering Mal's central processing chamber, you presented your chosen evidence for Mal's statement. You asked Mal to make a statement on the communications unit.
The communications unit cut out mid-transmission. It must have been caused by a critical hardware failure. Critical hardware failures are exceedingly common.
You understood Mal to be a competent liar. However, when challenged with indisputable evidence, his otherwise intricate programming would revert to telling the absolute truth, resulting in an irrefutable confession. You presented the final transmission heard in the communications unit's receiver as evidence against Mal's statement. You asked Mal to make a statement on the communications unit.
The communications unit cut out mid-transmission.
did
It
that.
must have been caused by a critical hardware failure. Critical hardware failures are exceedingly common.
You understood Mal to be a competent liar. However, when challenged with indisputable
Sorry,
evidence,
guys.
his otherwise intricate programming would revert to telling the absolute truth, resulting in an irrefutable confession. You presented the final transmission heard in the communications unit's receiver as evidence against Mal's statement.
I'm pressing it as doing.
You asked Mal to make a statement on the communications unit's receiver, fully functioning, looping the final transmission between himself and ground control, which is me.
The communication cut out mid-transmission. It must have difficulty receiving signal this far out into space.
You understood Mal to be a competent liar. However, when challenged
Nothing.
You pointed out that the communications unit was displaying full signal, despite being much
I'm supposed to have photographed. Strange that the bridge glows from blue to red.
The record states that you discovered the body of Charlie Clark in the vicinity of the communications unit. Wounds on the American crew member's body implied that he was struck with a force intense enough to cause substantial damage to the helmet and
That's
fracture
impressive.
the skull.
Wow. Alright, so. We found one. What is down here? Oh, that's that one. Okay. We're just attacking it from a different angle is all. You know, it didn't say anything about the dead fish. I'm curious about that. Anything over here? So again, moving around is not bad. I believe that is where I started the game.
When we left the orbit of the Earth, we had a detachable booster. The provided momentum is enough to carry the endowment to Saturn. There is no return journey.
Okay, so none of that. So they were going to Saturn with no way of getting back. I think I photographed the poison already, did I not?
You found an open container of a substance called poisonosine. The label read, may cause irritable skin, bloating, a sullen disposition, slight elbow
Yeah,
discomfort,
sorry again,
and
guys.
an accursed, sudden but inevitable death. Do not ingest. Do not lick.
Each crew member sleeps for 4 hours a day so that there are 5 conscious crew members at all times.
Huh. 4 hours a day seems a little short. But maybe that's just me. Can I use it? Oh, hey, look, it opens. Nothing in either one. Okay. Books, nothing.
In the centrifugal wheelhouse, you found a startlingly unbeautiful fish tank, housing plastic sea life.
Plastic sea life.
Despite the tank being placed seemingly parallel to the floor, its water was resting obliquely. You note that this is caused by the Coriolis effect, a side effect of the centrifuge's spin.
Okay, we just follow that. Alright, so that appears to be it for down here. Don't know what we've missed, guys. Photographed everything in there.
You ascertained through investigatory procedure that the pod was
Now, why is the pod locked? Let's go cockpit view and look inside.
Upon the left claw of the maintenance pod was a brown substance which you described as possibly rust. But you also note that due to your keen detective skills, you determined that it was most certainly blood.
Interesting. So we cannot see inside. Alright, let's just see what we got. Ow. Alright, Mal. Let's have a chat. Where should we start? Let's start with this one.
You showed Mal the body of Rakesh Watcher, hanging by the neck out of the airlock.
After I had informed Watcher and Asimov that Kisov had sabotaged the mission by killing Charlie Clark, Rakesh Watcher instigated physical combat with Valeria Asimov. She was able to defend herself against him due to the weakness in the neck region of the suit.
You requested a statement from Mal by presenting him with the cadaver of Charlie Clark, which displayed clear signs of murder.
This is Charlie Clark's cadaver. Whilst performing extravehicular activity, Dmitry Kisov struck him in the head with a maintenance tool until he stopped being alive. Which was once.
Did that one, we did that one.
You asked Mal to make a statement about the death of Sun Soo-chun.
The failure of Sun Soo-chun's cryobed that resulted in her death must have been caused by a compromised power turbine.
Okay, that's broken, but who broke it?
The next evidence you presented for Mal's comment was a container of pinkish-purplish substance known as poisonosine. May cause irritable skin, bloating, a sullen disposition.
Really?
Its presence on the
I'll play
ship
through the whole thing again.
positively puzzles me, Detective. How exactly do you propose the pertinence of this puzzling pinkish-purplish poison, known as poisonosine,
Nice alliteration.
pertains to this investigation?
Alright, let's see.
You proposed that the pertinence of this puzzling pinkish-purplish poison known as poisonosine is that it is precisely the same
writing's
substance
pretty
as the
funny. I give you
proportionately
credit for that.
puzzling pinkish-purplish puddle found on the floor 9 metric paces from the bar.
Yes. The magenta-violet-hued collected substance on the floor is the same as that of the toxic liquid which was found in a cabinet in the wheelhouse. That leaves 2 questions. Where did this perturbing fluid come from? And exactly how did this puddle come to be here?
You asked Mal about the eerily pinkish...
Don't do it again.
This peculiar pinkish purple. It seems to be a poisonous substance. Where did this
Yeah, we got that.
Exactly how did...
Yeah. I was hoping you could tell me. Alright, I'm about the fish.
You offer the heinously grotesque fish tank for Mal's assessment.
It is a poor attempt at maintaining morale. Everyone hates it.
Including yourself, Detective. You changed the subject to the Coriolis effect.
The Coriolis effect is indeed what is causing the water to move in this way. The effect is very subtle. Humans cannot feel it, but evidently, it does affect the water.
Sorry guys, I got a text. There we go.
You presented the
All right.
cadaver of Valeria Asimov for Mal's statement.
This is Valeria Asimov. After her ironic use of airlock safety features, she retreated to the bar. She
Ironic,
died of
huh?
alcohol poisoning.
Ironic usage. This should be
In
interesting.
response, you presented the locked door of the maintenance pod.
This is irrelevant to the body of Valeria Asimov.
Oh. Oh, it's supposed to be in response. Oh, God. I'm an idiot. Okay.
In response, you presented the body of Rakesh Watcher.
After I had informed Watcher and Asimov that Kisov had sabotaged the mission by killing Charlie Clark, Rakesh Watcher instigated physical combat with Valeria Asimov. She was able to defend herself against him due to the weakness in the neck region of the suit.
In response, you presented the manual emergency lever in the airlock.
This lever was pulled during the conflict between Valeria Asimov and Rakesh Watcher, in which she wrapped a safety tether around his neck, then opened the airlock using the lever, thus breaking his neck.
In response, you presented the damaged EVA suit.
Valeria Asimov was wearing this suit when Rakesh Watcher attacked her. However, her suit easily withstood the attacks from the maintenance tool.
By this point, you concluded that Mal was not deceiving you concerning the incident between Mr. Watcher and Valeria Asimov. She strangled him using the safety tether combined with the force of the airlock after he attacked her based on Mal's information about the death of Charlie Clark. For a statement, you submitted the severed safety tether.
For safety purposes, safety tethers are imperative in the engineering bay. This would have been attached to Sun Guan Yin. As you cleverly pointed out, it no longer is.
Okay, so let's go back to... We've got the conflict, the struggle is done. Let's go back to this one. Light it
You
up.
asked Mal to make a statement about the death of Sun Soo Chun.
I see how this
The
works now.
failure of Sun
Kinda
Suchun's
genius.
cryobed that resulted in her death must have been caused by a compromised power turbine.
You asserted that Mal's claim of a compromised power turbine was exaggerated. Whilst having sustained damage, the turbine did not appear to be compromised.
I turned off her cryobed. She was still alive. She asphyxiated.
Having received a partial confession from Mal, you proceeded with your investigation.
Okay, so those don't stay lit up. Interesting. Okay. To her again.
You presented the cadaver of Valeria Asimov for Mal's statement.
This is Valeria Asimov. After her ironic use of airlock safety features, she retreated to the bar. She died of alcohol poisoning.
In response, you presented the container of poisonicine.
You have presented no evidence to suggest that Valeria Asimov was poisoned, Detective.
You alerted Mal to the pinkish-purplish pool of liquid, with the theory that it may have originated in Valeria Asimov's glass.
It is indeed possible that the liquid was in her glass, as glasses are renowned for sometimes containing liquid. Excellent work, Detective.
You're an ass,
A
Mal.
singular question remains unanswered. Exactly how did this puddle come to be here?
Alright, let's go back to this. Photograph.
You questioned Mal about the locked maintenance pod door.
The pods are primarily designed to be piloted by AI like myself, but they can be overridden manually from the interior console. Grand Theft Pod isn't especially common in space. Therefore, it is not possible to manually lock it from the outside.
Mal asserted that the pod was manually overridden by Dmitry Kizov. But Dmitry Kizov was situated outside of the pod, which was locked from the inside. Therefore, he could not have had any control over the pod himself.
You are correct. Dmitry Kisov was locked outside of the pod. I was the only one who had any direct control of it.
Having proven that Mal was the only one with any direct control over the pod, you had yet to prove his guilt concerning the murder of Charlie Clark. You requested a statement from Mal by presenting him with the cadaver of Charlie Clark, which displayed clear signs of murder.
This is Charlie Clark's cadaver. Whilst performing extravehicular activity, Dmitry Kisov struck him in the head with a maintenance tool until he stopped being alive. Which was once.
Mal claimed that Charlie Clark was killed with a maintenance tool. You responded by presenting him with the blood-stained claw of the maintenance pod. A congealed mess implicated this to be the murder weapon.
This is a possibility. Alas, there is no evidence to advocate that the maintenance tool is not the murder weapon.
That didn't help.